Communities can have a lot of purposes. And I think one of the most important ones is exploring interests. I think one of the key things that brings most communities, especially ones that are built online together, is finding others that have a similar niche interest, because in your day-to-day life, you might not have relationships with friends or with family or with coworkers that share those same interests. So exploring interests can be a key driver of your community mission. Communities are a place to build relationships. Maybe you're going to meet a new friend to discuss that niche interest. Maybe you're going to find someone in a professional community that might become your next manager or might help you find your next role that's going to help you grow in your career. The biggest benefit that I found of joining communities, and I've joined many in my time, is the relationships that I've built, because so often a new relationship is a fork in the road that can change the rest of your life. The next item I want to talk to is selecting a community platform. When it comes to selecting a platform, it's important to do your own research and make a decision based on the community format that you want to consider. Starting out, when I think about community, one of my favorite communities I ever started was called the Hoop Dreamers. It was a group text for a collection of my friends who loved to play basketball in San Francisco. So that was just an iMessage group chat. And it was great because it's able to meet your audience where they already are. It was extremely easy to set up. People got notifications in their phone when there was basketball. It was a very easy way to bring people together. However, the challenge there was the closed off format capped out our size. We could only have so many people join the group chat. And we couldn't do things like host a live stream of our latest basketball game for people who couldn't make it there. So when you want to use this is as a step one to get started.
They said, what are ways to help members integrate the new platform that they choose into their daily habits? For example, if someone's never used Bevy and they may forget it, how do you keep it top of mind?
The number one factor for success in your community is staying engaged regularly and regularly notifying your members. So for example, Bevy has a tool that lets you email all of your members or all of the individuals who attended a specific event. And what I try to do is every week or every other week, send out a little bit of a newsletter that summarizes the content that has been discussed in the community, and also gives people a few calls to action to go participate. So invites them to RSVP for the next event, invites them to participate in a specific discussion. So as a community manager, one of the keys to having success will be staying regular and proactively asking people to participate. You're going to be asking people a lot, which can be a little bit tricky to balance because sometimes you feel like, oh, I don't want to be spamming people. And it's a tight line to walk. However, my line of thinking is you should err on the side of informing your members. They're going to have a lot of inputs from a lot of places. And hopefully, if you're building a strong community that has a mission and a meaning, then the content that you're sharing with them is going to be valuable. Starting your community with a few questions and discussions that you've already published. So this will both provide content to engage with for people that are visiting for the first time and shows your users the type of content that they might like to create. So I'm going to share 3 general tips and tricks here. The first is that anything can be content. You can ask questions. You can tell a personal story about your own experience in the mission related to your community. You can share white papers. You can share videos. Anything is going to be better than nothing when it comes to sharing content. And what's really important is keeping a consistent stream going. Building a list of content ahead of time is also a really, really great tactic. If you're able to sit down for an hour or 2 hours with one of your founding members or by yourself and really get locked in on building a backlog of what you might like to share, it's going to make keeping up on a week-to-week basis that much easier. So having a backlog of content to share is really, really key. It's so much easier to go into a spreadsheet or a list of content that you've already prepared to share than it is to come back every single week and try and start from scratch and get yourself in the headspace of writing new content.